Hi there. Hello. Welcome. So I'm doing, hi everybody. Just really quick, I'm doing pendulum question, yes or no today. I didn't get any questions from anybody, so I'm just going to ask a few questions I have from my podcast, which is Hi, Frank Rabbit. Will you be rich and famous? Okay. Um, First, before I start, I see that people are starting to give me some questions. Rice Rabbit, I'm gonna write down your question. Just give me a second. I have to set up. So that was what I was getting to. So the first thing I have to do is test out the pendulum. Not test out, but just get it in the right frequency. So you can so yeah, I ask simple stupid questions like, is my name Maciel? And that's a yes. Am I 100 years old? That's a no. Okay. So I'm gonna go with the first question. Hello, hi, from the famous rabbit. Will I be rich and famous? Ooh, will rabbit be rich and famous? Aw, no, it says no. I'm so sorry, but you are technically kind of famous. How about how about the rabbit will be pseudo famous? How about infamous? There you go. Infamous. You're gonna be infamous. People are gonna know who you are, but you won't be rich and famous. Sorry, doll, but you will be infamous. Anybody else have a question? I'd love to hear some more questions. I'm gonna dive into some of my questions from my podcast. A lot of true crime questions. Um, I love questions from the audience. That would be great. So you're gonna be infamous. That's awesome. I'd rather be infamous than famous, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes it goes together. Yes, exactly. Attention. Thank you for asking the question. I appreciate it. Hey guys, so does anybody know about the Black Dahlia, the famous case from the 1940s? Was it 1940s? I hope I'm saying the right year. So I did a podcast on her. She lived in Los Angeles. Her real name was Elizabeth Smart. They discovered her body mutilated in downtown Los Angeles, and they could never figure out who her killer was. So in this instance, um, we're gonna ask. I in my podcast. If you listen to my podcast, go listen to my podcast. It's called Black Hole Sun. I talk about how I believe it's one particular person. So I'm gonna ask because I really think this particular person has died already, but I want to know. I want to know if Elizabeth. Oh, I said Smart. Sorry, Elizabeth Short killer is Greg Houdel. Um. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh gosh, my handwriting today. George Hodel, whose son Steve actually believed it was him. Yeah, she did. She was practically cut in half. Well, she was mutilated in half and then drained of her blood. So she was completely drained of her blood. And then what they did was they carved her face from ear to ear. So she was pretty mutilated. Um, so, Elizabeth Short, not Smart, sorry. They found her body until this day. Yes, the son, yes, Steve is the detective, and he believed that it was his father because his father was a surgeon and he had ties to the cops. Plus, he was really rich. So, yeah, so the son believed it was the father, Greg. So he was he was a detective for the so if you watch any of these documentaries, which is kind of crazy, um he was a detective for LAPD, but they wouldn't give him any information. Like they really like dicked him over. And I agree with him. There was just too much coincidence. And his dad was kind of a creeper. No worries. So his dad was kind of a creeper. Yeah. And so yeah. So I'm gonna ask if Greg Houdel killed Elizabeth Short. So you have to be really clear about the question. Did Greg Houdel kill Elizabeth Short? No. Oh, I swore it was him. I swore it was him. There was also a boyfriend who was can't remember his name, who was in the Navy who came to visit her. Maybe it was him. Oh, I got another question. Was Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia, killed for a cult ritual? Was Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia, killed for a cult ritual? No. All right, that's disappointing. Super disappointing. So yeah, so that was the one question. My next question is another episode that I had. Does anybody have any questions? You could jump in whenever and type it in and let me know if you have any questions. Um, I'm just kind of going off of my. Can everybody see? I just want to make sure everybody sees. I'm just going off of what I have from my podcast and all the true crime stuff, just questions that I've been wondering. Um, but if you have a specific question, a yes or no question, I'd love to ask. So we just asked if Greg Houdel, who is tied to the Black Dahlia's murder, hello, to the Black Dahlia's murder, Elizabeth Short murder, if he killed her, and the pendulum said no. And then I asked, was it like a ritualistic murder? Thank you for asking that question. You have a great day too. Um, so I asked if it was a ritualistic murder. It wasn't. All right, so it might just be something we don't know, and I don't know what else to ask about this case. So I'm going to move on to another case. Does everybody know the John Benet Ramsey case? Does anybody know the John Benet Ramsey case? It was about a little girl, a little girl who was murdered so many years ago. I mean, I think that if she wasn't murdered, she would have been in her 30s by now. She was a beauty queen in Colorado. On Christmas morning they found her they found her missing, and then the next day they found her dead in their basement. So they haven't figured out who killed this little girl. I believe her mom had passed away, and they're still trying to figure out what's going on with her. Like they haven't solved this mystery. It's like 30 something years and they haven't solved this mystery. So I wanted to ask a few questions about that case. Um, so my first question is, in regards to John Benet Ramsey, did her mother kill her? No. So the pendulum is saying that John Benet was not killed by her mother. Did her father kill her? No. We're asking questions about John Benet Ramsey's case. And the first question was, did her mother kill her? Second question was, did her father kill her? Now I want to ask, was John Benet Ramsey killed by her brother? Was John Benet Ramsey killed by her brother? I guess that's a no too. Huh. That's interesting. So what we're doing is we're asking the pendulum questions, and it's going to give us an answer, a yes or no answer. It also has try again and maybe on here, but so far it says yes or no. So if you'd like us to ask it a question, we will. So let me know if anybody else has a question. You can jump on. Anybody? I'm trying to think what's something that. Oh, okay. Here I want to talk about Free Britney. So I've been really glued to my TV about Britney Spears and her conservatorship, and I've been feeling so terrible after after I heard her discuss, how she felt about her conservatorship. I have been wanting to know what's the deal. Is she going to be free? Is she going to be out of this conservatorship? Um, so let's ask the pendulum. Will Britney Spears be released from her conservatorship by August? Hold on. Let's do it one more time. All right. Will Britney Spears be released from her conservatorship by, let's say, September? Oh, it's saying yes. Will Britney Spears be released from her conservatorship by September? And that's a hard yes. And of course, it could be wrong, but I feel like that's a swinging yes. Which is great because Britney is turning 40 this year in December. So I'd love to hear her really get her freedom. So that was another one. Um, anybody can jump in and ask a question if you have a question. I'm gonna give you a little bit of space of time to go ahead. So far we've asked about the Black Dahlia, we've asked about John Benet Ramsey, we asked about Britney Spears. Um, let's see. Okay, I only had like one, two, three, four, five questions set up for today, so this might be short if nobody asks questions. My next question is about the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. So, recently Netflix did a documentary about this hotel. I've actually passed by it. I used to live. It's on Seventh Street and I think Hope. I think it's Seventh Street and Hope. And I lived walking distance from this hotel when I lived in downtown Los Angeles. So I know where it is. It's actually kind of a creepy place. I've passed by. Um, Outside. It's actually really, really beautiful, but it's kind of creepy in a way. And the one thing I remembered, I was telling a friend of mine, is when you pass by, you see a lot of flies. So there's a lot of flies outside, and you get kind of like the creeps. But it could just be me. It is kind of a sketchy part of Los Angeles. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in that part of town, and there's a lot of homeless, and it's not the best part of town. Like a lot of people don't occupy that part of town. So there was a documentary on Netflix which I did a podcast about the Cecil Hotel, and the Cecil Hotel is notorious since the 80s for having all sorts of crazy stuff there. Like the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, lived there while he was doing his killings. Like he literally um, talked about when he was confessing to the cops, like talked about killing people and then taking off his clothes, like and putting his bloody clothes in the dumpster, and then coming through the hotel naked because it wasn't like a big deal. So Richard Rodriguez lived there. There was a lot of drug dealing. There was a lot of like murders at the Cecil Hotel. If you're just joining us, I'm talking about the Cecil Hotel and I'm about to ask a question about it. So there's a lot of just strange and wacky, haunted stuff that goes on there because there was drug dealers, there was death, there was murder. So one particular, so at one point they tried to like spruce up the hotel because it had such a bad reputation. So they divided the hotel between one entrance was for the residents and then another entrance was for like the hotel. So they tried to make it like a capsule hotel, like I don't know, like the Yotel in New York or Washington, or another place is like the Pod 45 is the one place. Kind of make it like a friendly, cheap destination for tourists. So, so many years ago, Elsa Lam from Canada came to visit, and she came to visit to Los Angeles, and she disappeared. Um, and since, from the day she disappeared to the day they found her. So what's crazy is there's a videotape of her on the elevator doing kind of weird stuff, like she's opening the door and looking out and looking for people, and it seems like there's somebody there, but there isn't somebody there. So there's that strange phenomenon. So they believe that someone was following her. There's so many conspiracies against over her death that we really don't know what happened. What did happen at the end is they found her body naked in the water tank of the hotel. And the only reason they even realized this was because the people who were staying at the hotel noticed that the water was getting really like muddy and gross and brown. So someone went to investigate up to the tank, and they found the tank open, and they found her body, and she was decomposing. So my understanding is they haven't figured out how she got in that tank, um, or what reasoning, like what was her motive, if someone put her there. There's a whole like Netflix tries to debunk a lot of the stuff, but it's kind of like, okay, well that's kind of odd, that's suspicious. And there's also that whole footage from the elevator where she's going in and out. She was also bipolar. She was off her medication, and she was having issues, and she was in a strange part of town, so it's a sketchy part of town. So I want to know if the Cecil Hotel is haunted. I think I know the answer. Um, so Pendulum, tell us: is the Cecil Hotel? Oh God, it's already moving. Is the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles haunted? Well, if that's not a big yes, that's like a giant yes. Like, hello, it's haunted. I mean, there's so many stories. How can it not? They need like a large bundle of sage or holy water to bless that place. So it's saying an absolute yes. Yes, it's haunted. It's haunted. Let's see, what's another good question for that hotel? So obviously, people believe either Elsa committed suicide or she was murdered. So let's ask that question. Did Elsa Lamb commit suicide? Oh, saying yes. Okay. Was Elsa Lamb murdered? Was Elsa Lamb murdered? Well, that's weird. Was Elsa Lamb murdered? Hmm. Did Elsa Lamb commit suicide? She did both. Well, that's weird. She was murdered and she committed suicide. Okay, that's weird. That's so strange. Did Elsa Lamb see ghosts? Yes. Okay. That's so strange. So maybe she was murdered by a ghost? Okay. So apparently she was murdered by a ghost. That's crazy. All right. So I'm gonna go into one. Let's see. What's another question? Nobody has any questions. If you have a question, speak up now. Forever hold your peace. Speak up now. I see you people. I see the little eyes. Since there's 14 of you here, come on. Don't be shy. It's all in fun. It's all in fun. We're just having fun here. I want to ask a question about the show The Mandalorian. I want to know, will Hera Sedula be featured in in ugh, excuse me? Will Hera Sedula will Hera Sedula, character from Rebels, be featured in Mandalorian season 3? I was about to say chapter 3. Will Hera Sedula be featured in? Well, okay, never mind. Hera Sedula be featured in Mandalorian season 3? Will we see Grogu again in season 3? Obviously, 'cause everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. Let's see. Will we see Luke Skywalker again in season 3 of The Mandalorian? Oof. Okay. So I guess that's a real big yes. Let me think. Any questions? Any questions? Trying to think of anything that is newsworthy right now. I really enjoy doing these pendulum readings. I also do tarot cards and oracle cards. So if you ever have a question, I can do some cards for you. Yeah. So, is there any more questions? No, those were all the questions I had. Obviously, if you want to watch the rest of this video back, you totally can. So I'm gonna go because those were the best 20 minutes of my life. If you want another one of these, let me know. I'd love to do those. This was kind of fun. You can also check out my podcast. If you have any questions about the questions I asked and you're wondering what I was talking about, my podcast is linked in the comment section of this video. You can go check it out. Of course, you can come back to this, watch this. I really appreciate your views. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you want another one of these or oracle cards or something different. I can totally do that. Have a good one. Take care.